Hi, this is McCoy Buck with WatchMeWork.com, and in this lecture, we're going to be talking about the bone strength tool. So if we zoom in here to this character that was created by Mike Roberts is actually made up of a bunch of different images that were created in Photoshop. So if I click on the main bone layer right here, I now have the options over here in my bone tools palette to select my bone strength, which is this icon right here, or S on the keyboard. So if I zoom in here now, after selecting that, you can see that there are these semi-transparent circles or ovals around the bones. This is your bone strength. The bone strength lets you adjust how much influence each bone has over the points in a vector layer, but in this case, over the images. So if I zoom out, you can't see it very well, but there are a bunch of different influence or bone strength around all of these image layers. If I expand the image layers, you can see that there's some for the phone, for the hat, for the face. And if I hit play, this is the animation of this character. And this is made possible by bones and how the bone strength is set up. So because these are called target bones and these are only affected on frame 1 and after, I'm going to go ahead and remove those for now. So now what I have the ability to do is adjust my bone strength on frame 0, but also see what it looks like as I'm adjusting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my bone strength tool, or S on the keyboard, and to adjust your bone strength, you're simply going to click and drag left or right. So if I click the bone and I drag right, it's going to increase that bone strength. If I drag left, it's going to decrease that bone strength. But the best way to see it is with the bone in action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my manipulate bones tool, or Z on the keyboard, and I'm going to grab this forearm bone, I'm going to twist this out, and as you can see there, this already has some warping because I was already messing with the bone strength. So to fix that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this bone, hit S on my keyboard for the bone strength, and then I'm going to come over here, click, and I'm going to drag right. I'm now giving it strength back to this layer, or influencing this layer. When I decrease that strength, you can see this bone does absolutely nothing, and this layer goes back to how it was originally created in Photoshop. So let's go ahead and let's bring the bone strength back to bring influence back over that arm. And that looks pretty good right about there, I would say. And then you would go over here to your bone strength here. Same thing, if I click and I drag all the way to the left, I'm going to lose that strength. So it's going to go back to its original shape that it was created in Photoshop. But if I bring that strength back, you can see that it's now being influenced once again. You would then go through with this same method throughout the whole body until you get a desirable result. So let's go ahead and show you what it'll look like if I was to play out this animation, add back the target bones with a terrible result for my bone strength. All right, let's go ahead and hit play. So if I zoom in here, I really mess with the bone strength right here, and it's really visible. If I render this layer, you can see that this image is really warped. And so with the bone strength, it's a lot of tweaking. It's a little bit of finesse in there that you got to get right for these images to work. Because you got to remember, this is simply images that Moho is basically moving around and animating. And you are the one that have to set those parameters as to how much influence each of those bones are going to have over your images. And that in a nutshell is bone strength in Moho. In the next lecture, we're going to talk about two different things, the select bone tool and the reparent bone tool. And I'll see you in the next lecture.